It's the biggest week for financial markets in 2024, and the tone is a cautious but optimistic one. I'm Jessica Amir, market strategist with Mumu. You're watching The Daily. Thanks for joining us. Well, we've got the three E's this week: the US election, more company earnings and economic data, plus the Fed's expected interest rate cut, as well as the Bank of England's. Meanwhile, the Reserve Bank of Australia is meeting. They're expected to hold interest rates exactly where they are, while China's top legislative body meets as well. Here are some key things that you need to consider. Firstly, the Aussie stock market has started the week with a very minor lift. There are risks this week of a big pullback, with caution thick in the air. Markets could see big swings in either direction this week. Remember, markets typically do pull back in a US election week and then recover the week after. Secondly, consider if you're trading or investing in the broad Aussie share market or indeed Aussie banks. Both the Aussie market and its biggest sector, the banking sector, are facing extra pressure this week. We've got Aussie banks. I guess they're dubbed the most expensive in the world, with the ASX 200 finance bank index trading higher than their global peers. We've got bank stocks due for a haircut. That's if you look at the technical indicators. CBA, the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, they're Australia's biggest company, biggest on the ASX, as well as NAB, the National Australia Bank. Both of these key banks have hit what we call a technical term, a double top. Now, this suggests that they could pull back. Particularly what is backing this up is the fundamentals. Consumers are spending a lot less, and we could have the RBA keeping interest rates pretty much where they are for some time, perhaps until mid-next year. So investors are really probably going to question why they're holding Aussie bank stocks here. So this means for you, it could maybe be time to take some profits off the table from banking stocks that you hold, or maybe be prepared to ride a very bumpy wave. We'll probably get some extra bumps along the way this week from the banks. National Australia Bank's results are out, as well as ANZ, so they'll be on watch. The third thing to consider is if you are looking for potential warning signs of a further pullback, watch these key measures. The US dollar index, we call that the DXY, it's at 4-month highs. Bond yields, they're at their highest levels since June. And the Aussie, or rather the broad global fear index, we call that the VIX, it's trading at its highest level, on par for one of its highest levels this year. Now, all in all, this suggests traders are on edge. If we do see these markers rise, that means bond yields will lift and the Aussie share market will see pressure falling to the downside. And this means that if we see this happen, investors will probably keep cash on the sidelines until maybe next week. Also consider there's always a green market somewhere, green and gold. Gold stocks are moving up today, and so are local tech stocks. NextDC and Technology One are higher, but so too are Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals, because the iron ore price is rising. If you are into mining stocks, keep an eye on rare earth, copper and aluminium, as well as uranium names this week. Keep an eye on BHP, Lynas, Paladin, Boss, Deep Yellow, just to name a few. Why? Well, a couple key reasons. Last week, remember, we saw Google and Amazon announce that they're boosting spending. They're spending billions of dollars on AI infrastructure and uranium. This also means particularly it's worthwhile watching uranium companies. Also consider that we do have the world's biggest uranium company, Constellation Energy. They are releasing their earnings overnight in the US. Last but not least, watch big tech stocks. Amazon shares are up 6%. They've led tech stocks higher overnight. Lululemon, believe it or not, that's an athleisure name that many of us know, and perhaps where they're in the tech index, the NASDAQ, and their shares jumped 8%. That was Lululemon's biggest jump in 1 year. And the technical indicators are suggesting Lululemon stock could make a run higher. Last but not least, keep an eye on NVIDIA. NVIDIA on Friday will be added to the blue chip Dow Jones 30 index, and it's kicking out Intel. Also, keep an eye on Square. They are Australia's 12th biggest tech company and Australia's 12th biggest ASX company. They make 40% of their money from Bitcoin, and they're due to release their earnings later this week. And that's The Daily.